Poverty is a long forgotten problem in Japan. After the rapid economic growth in the 60s and 70s, society and also the government, we just assumed that poverty is a finished problem, that we have solved this problem, that we no longer see the people in dire needs on the streets, we do not have slums in our urban cities, and so the poverty was forgotten. The government stopped the measurement of poverty in 1960s. And then for a long time we believed that poverty is not our issue. But then from the 1990s we're beginning to see more and more people sleeping on the street. And first people just thought they're just doing that because they have drug or alcohol problems and so forth. But then we look into it, these are the people who have lost their jobs and their houses, and then they have nowhere to go but to sleep in the street. But there was no social infrastructure to really help them because we have assumed that poverty is not an issue in Japan. The older generation is one big section that we have always had poverty problem of the elderly generation. But like in all other Asian countries, that it was normal for children to support their parents, so they live together, and when they live together with many adults in the household and more than one person is working, then the poverty rate becomes much less. But nowadays, that with population aging and also the number of children are decreasing very rapidly, that means a lot of times that the elderly generation, they don't have anyone to support, anyone that can support them. So then it becomes completely on their own income, either earning or pensions, to support themselves. But our pension system is not really generous enough to put them out of poverty, especially for older women. So that is a big problem. The only solution for the elderly poverty problem is raising of the pension amount, to have the minimum living pension, like in many other developed countries too. But that is going to cost a lot of burden fiscally, because the elderly population, I mean, probably you know that the elderly population rate is the highest in Japan compared to any other country. So that will become a huge fiscal burden. Probably China doesn't really have the elderly problem right now, but it is soon going to have this number of elderly growing very rapidly, and also the number of our young generation diminishing within the population. When that happens, China really needs to think about what to do about their elderly poverty. Whether I understand that they're starting to have some pension systems, but unless it's universal, they're going to have a massive elderly poverty problem. If I can pick one country that can be, that we can look at as a model, is like Canada, where they have the minimum income pension, minimum pension level. Or like in Australia, where they have threshold for the income threshold for the pensions, where so the high income elderly do not get pension, but there is a basic pension for people who are lower in their income strata. So that kind of pension system might be possible for Japan. Yeah.